In today's video, we're gonna talk about 5 things that you can learn from the American YouTuber Stefan if you want to grow your YouTube channel in 2019.
Give me a chance to make it right.
I just had my highest day for money ever on a single day of ad revenue and made $150 in a single day.
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Florian. I'm a video creator from Germany, and on this channel I'm documenting my current 1-year journey of becoming a full-time content creator. And to get better at it and to learn faster, I'm currently reaching out to a whole lot of people that have recently built a YouTube channel before me to ask them about the lessons that they learned along the way. And one of the first people that I got to hang out with was an American YouTuber by the name of Stefan. If you're new to this channel, you might have not seen them, but there are 2 videos already on this channel that I've recorded with Stefan together. I had the chance to make an interview with him, and in that interview I took away 5 big lessons that could help you grow your YouTube channel just as Stefan did. Because the remarkable thing that he did, he managed to grow it from 0 to 46,000 subscribers in 10 months without any shoutouts, just by himself, while working full time. So this video might be a little bit longer, but it's gonna be completely knowledge packed. Let's not lose any time and get right into it. The first big lesson that you can learn from Stefan is being proud of your very first work, even if it sucks or you don't get a lot of traction on it. Let's hear what Stefan said about that.
I had these inspirational people that I would watch on YouTube that were really good. Maybe Sam Colder you've heard of. I was like, wow, I want to learn the skills that he has. And so I booked the trip over winter break to go to see Paris and Barcelona. And I thought, all right, I'll just go to these 2 cities. I'll film a ton of footage there. I'll get home and try to make the most out of this footage, and I'll start a YouTube channel. I didn't have the fancy gear. I just used my iPhone for everything, and I spent weeks just editing these 2 travel videos. Even though these 2 videos are like the worst performing videos I've had on my entire channel, they're some of the videos that I'm the most proud of, because before I started this journey I didn't know how to even edit a video. Like, I didn't know how to put clips in the timeline. I had to figure all this out just to make a simple cut. I'd have to watch a YouTube video to try to figure that out.
And I find that very interesting, because if you've ever created something for yourself, you'll probably know that the moment that you finish something, upload it, even if it's not perfect, you have this feeling of accomplishment that you finished something. And that is a huge one. And I remember the first video for me, it probably took me like 40 or 50 hours to finish that, and it's a pretty poor video, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm proud of the accomplishment, because first you took the time and the effort to actually build something, and then afterwards you even took the courage to upload it and for other people to see and even judge it. And that, from my point of view, is one of the biggest accomplishments you can make in the very beginning if you aspire to become a content creator as well, because it can take quite a bit of courage to do that in the first place. The second big lesson that you can learn from Stefan is that if you have an idea and you think there's no chance that this is going to work, just try it and see what happens. So let's listen to what Stefan had to say about this.
I dated a Swedish girl for 9 months in America. When she moved back to Sweden, she's like, you want to travel? Why don't you see if you can get a job here in Sweden? And I was like, I had never really considered that as a possibility. You could apply and just see what happens. Like, all right, there's no chance that this is actually going to happen. I went on a Google and I typed in jobs in Norrköping where I could speak English. The first job that came up on the search was that an international school needed a PE teacher that didn't even need to know Swedish to take this job, and that was what I was certified for. All the stars just kind of aligned.
And I think that's super interesting, because normally when I have an idea and I think about, oh, there's no chance that this is going to happen, then the first thing that comes into my mind is, why should I even bother trying if it's not going to happen anyway? But what he did here was the complete opposite. He thought to himself, well, there's probably no chance that it's going to work. Let's try it anyway. And funny enough, it worked for him directly. So I personally find this to be a very valuable lesson, because if you think about it, how often you thought like, this is never gonna work, so I don't even bother trying, and how many chances you missed out on just because you didn't even try it in the first place. It's like that saying that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. The third thing to learn from Stefan is focusing on the long-term perspective. So during the interview, Stefan said something interesting that got me thinking.
I had the inspiration of build it over the long haul. I've got a steady job, I've got a steady income, there's no rush on it, but I saw it as double benefit, because if I can create good videos and people are interested in it, I can grow a YouTube channel over time. But also, if I can learn video editing skills, then that is really an amazing skill that can make you money money in other ways. It's always been something that I've seen as a long-term thing. I've always been realistic with my expectations because it takes a really, really long time to build something up that's worthwhile.
And if you hear him saying that, that makes a whole lot of sense, because it also goes hand in hand together with his approach of still working full-time while building your YouTube channel on the side. And that has the very big benefit of taking away the huge financial pressure that come if you decide to go all in and take the risk of just doing that. That's especially one thing that I had to realize over the last few months, that of course if you don't do anything else, if this is the only thing that you focus on, it can at times be difficult, and you don't know 1, 2, 3, 4 months from now how you're gonna make money at that point in time. And that at times can actually be very unsettling. And so I think for many who aspire to become a content creator, his approach of working full-time and then building a YouTube channel on the side, just focus on the long-term perspective, can be a very, very smart one. Of course, while you might not have the financial pressure, it in turn can lead to having a lot of time pressure, which also was the case for Stefan, who had to deal with working 40 hours per week and then only being able to film his YouTube videos on the weekend and edit during the weekend nights. But the big takeaway there is building something like a YouTube channel is gonna require a lot of patience and time. So the only really choice you have is focusing on the long-term perspective. The fourth thing to take away from Stefan, which is a huge one for me actually, is that especially if you start out with YouTube, the very best thing you can do is try a whole bunch of different things that you thought might work. And in Stefan's case, that worked out like this.
When I started my channel, it was originally going to be like a travel channel, and then my third video is one that just was extremely big, and that was 5 things that shocked me about moving to Sweden. And where my Paris and Barcelona videos maybe got a couple hundred views each, this video in the first week it maybe got like 3,000 or 4,000 views. YouTube kept recommending it, showing it to different people. To this day, it's got like 720 some thousand views. I got like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers just from that video in the first 3 or 4 months, and then I had an audience to talk to, and I'm like, all right, people really like this content, let's make similar content. That's why it's so important to test different things with YouTube, because if you don't try different things, you don't know what people are gonna like and what they're not gonna like. Sometimes there's videos that you think are gonna do well that don't do well, and sometimes there's videos that you have no expectations for and they do extremely well.
So I personally experienced that, and I've seen it with other people as well. Especially if you start out in the beginning with YouTube, you don't ever really know what kind of content is gonna work. That's also why this is already the 3rd video I made about this entire meetup with Stefan, because first of all I thought a behind the scenes could be interesting, the story video could be interesting, as well as these lessons could be interesting, and then we're just gonna see, and I'm very curious to hear what's most valuable to you. And then what Stefan did was he tried a few different things, and the 3rd video he actually made directly hit it big time.
Once I found the people that were interested in my content, I knew who I was talking to, who's watching my channel, and I would just keep creating America versus Sweden content.
Just kept hammering and continued making this content, which has proven to be a great decision for him. So the takeaway is, if you start out to be a content creator, try out a whole bunch of different things until you find something that works, and then just keep continuing making that kind of content. Even if that means that you need to change a little bit the direction that you initially planned to go for. The 5th big takeaway from this interview with Stefan might be that if you want to make YouTube your full-time income, it's probably gonna take around 100,000 subscribers to do that. At least these are his thoughts on that.
The number that kind of sticks out in my head is when I can hit 100,000 subscribers, I'd be really, really close to making that my full-time income. But then again, it can be an up and down roller coaster. Counting solely on YouTube ad revenue, that can be really scary. But if the view count's not high, if the engagement's not high on my channel, my overall pay can take a dip. I can have a really good day on YouTube on a single day of ad revenue and made $150 in a single day. But then I can go for a week and have that entire week of only $10 a day, all depending on how my videos are doing. I think it's important to kind of diversify your income sources. If you can build other things off of that, like you've got t-shirt sales, you've got a large Instagram following, for example, that you could do sponsored posts here and there, you can do sponsorships through your YouTube, I think that makes it a lot easier to make a full-time income.
Having talked with a few different content creators, with Warner Nickerson, with Karen Nate, as well as with Stefan now, for me it kind of becomes more clear that anywhere between, let's say, 60 to 100,000 subscribers comes that point where realistically, YouTube could replace a full-time income. Of course, it's difficult to generalize that, and for some it might come sooner, for others it might come later. It also depends very much on how you aspire to make money on YouTube. In Stefan's case, for example, it's mainly YouTube ad revenue as well as the t-shirts that he's selling.
If I can make 2 to 3 times in ad revenue, plus maybe 2 to 3 times in t-shirt sales from merch from what I'm making now, then I could make a full-time income from that.
So it might be possible to make it sooner, but that kind of 100,000 subscriber milestone seems to be like the benchmark where it's actually realistic to make YouTube into your full-time income. And before we end this video, I have one little bonus thing that I want to share with you because I found this super interesting that Stefan said that in the end. For any of you who might struggle with that you think that you don't have enough time, this is what Stefan said to that.
I think it all comes down to how big of a priority do you want to make this. There's always time for what your priorities are, and everybody's priorities are different. If you have goals and dreams of building a YouTube channel, then you've got to make that a priority. And I made that priority last year, and some other things in my life might have suffered from that, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't put so much time and effort. And if it's something that you're truly passionate about, I believe that you can find the time.
And to be honest, I couldn't agree more. Whatever it is that is most valuable to you in life, you will always find and make the time for that. So if something like building a YouTube channel is the most important thing for you, you'll find the time. And if you don't, it simply might mean that it's really not that important to you after all. And that's it. Those were the 5 main takeaways that I got from the day hanging out with Stefan, and that I thought would be very valuable to share with you if you aspire to become a content creator as well and build something like a YouTube channel. Because I feel that everybody who's trying to build something on YouTube goes through the same steps. A few people might be some steps ahead, others might be a few steps back, but to hear the stories of others who are just a little bit ahead in the game and to hear the lessons that they've learned is how I think super valuable if you aspire to build something like they did. In the comments down below, let me know which of those was most valuable for you to hear. And if you haven't by now already, make sure to click here to see the full story video that I made for Stefan, or down here to see the behind the scenes of how we shot that video. And I think that's it for today. Super curious to hear if that was helpful. Leave a like and a comment down below. Until next time. Perfect! This looks so professional! Fancy new lighting setup. It's pretty rad, right? I know it looks so good.